Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome to the first Chariot chat of May. I'm coming in here to you post yoga. It's been a little rough the last 24 hours or so. I've been kind of moving through some things and just everyday life happening that is affecting me in ways that I'm struggling with. And there's some things coming up, but I do feel that I'm starting to come through with maybe some clarity and some awarenesses on the other side that actually may even reveal some goodies or nuggets for everybody. So I thought I would pop on here and try to articulate while also watching the clock because, if we don't laugh, we might cry. So in finding the humor in all things and telling the story backwards, I have to go pick up my husband shortly from a massage. And that is because, as many of you know, my daughter had a fender bender, an accident the other month. And unfortunately, we do know that her car has been totaled. And we're working through a number of challenges there. There's a lot of, difficulty in figuring out what the resolution is going to be with her going off to college, with my next daughter coming up on 16, chomping at the bit to start getting her permit and later her license. And not to mention how quickly we adjusted in this house to having 3 drivers. So it's been very challenging. We're navigating. Gratefully, we have 2 cars. Like I said, this is where sometimes it's even hard to express how we're feeling because we put judgment on ourselves to say this is really not a problem, in comparison to other people's problems. But when we're talking about emotions and moving energy, it's really not about any type of hierarchy. So I'm just going to be vulnerable and share with you. I have said that I am really making an effort to give myself 90 minutes every week to go to yoga as a part of my own self-care. It's not easy for me. It's difficult to carve out space, to pull myself away from my work, to, take the time. But I've been doing it. Everybody in my house is aware, and it's on our family calendar. And yet today, when I was driving to yoga, I got a message from my husband that said, where are you? And when are you coming back? And I said, I am on my way to yoga and I'll be back around noon. And he says, well, I have a massage at 11:30. Well, my husband has a membership that he did the same thing for himself many years ago. I'm a little slow on the pickup, but this is a priority that he does for himself. But there's really no rhyme or reason to when he makes these appointments. And for some reason, they do not make themselves onto our family calendar. So as a result, he was in the shower when I left and I went along my merry way. So he said, well, now he can't get to yoga and I'm here to the massage. And I'm like, well, I'm just pulling up here now. And I was like, ooh, darn it. Sorry about that. So anyway, I went to yoga and I, was ping-ponging between sort of stewing and then feeling badly because there's other events that, like I said, I'm telling backwards. And I came out of yoga and I see that his solution, which I say is a wise one that he came up with, he got an Uber to his massage, which is 3 traffic lights from our house. He got an Uber and he says, but I need you to pick me up at 12:30. Don't forget. So I'm watching the clock, just a few minutes till I have to go pick him up. So I got to speed up the story. While I was in yoga, again, my beautiful teacher said something really profound. Again, that these movements in Svarupa Yoga are deceptively simple, but deeply profound in the spinal release and the tension that you can move through the body through these simple movements. And those words, deceptively simple, deeply profound, are echoing back to me, the things I was moving through prior to the big yoga massage debacle of 2024, is that there's a lot of things in my environment going on that have built up. We've talked a lot about the need to remove clutter and excess from our life and things that are weighing us down and bogging us down, whether it be mental, energetic clutter, electronic clutter, and physical clutter. I have all of those things. And, it's definitely my my thing that I have is creating time and space to clear these things out. Well, this morning, my dog Cooper, windows wide open, a family walked by on their way to school, and they had a big dog, and Cooper lost it and got upset, and in his ferociously barking out the window, he's an 85-pound Weimaraner, ripped my screen to my big, beautiful window of my bedroom. You know, this focal point. I've talked about this window before. I showed it to you the one time. I already know if I flip the camera around, you can't see it because there's a glare, but there's now a hole about this big in my screen with screen hanging down. And it was a little bit of like a last straw for me, just emotionally in my environment and just feeling totally overloaded. But, what I want to bring this back around to for you is that, as I mentioned in the energetic weather report this week, Pluto went retrograde yesterday, the planet Pluto, which, you know, is the outermost planet of our solar system. And when it moves into retrograde, it's the planet of death and rebirth. So when Pluto is in retrograde, we are forced or moved to reflect on making the necessary changes and transformations in our life or area. And more specifically, you can even look at your astrology, your natal chart, to see where Pluto is in that chart, to see what area of your life it might impact. But there's this symbolism of the outermost planet showing from the outer world what in your inner world needs change and transformation. What must change, right? Death, rebirth. And the symbolism of a literal hole being shredded into the screen between my inner world and the outer world, the outside, is not lost on me. You know, I really had this moment of making that connection because, you know, behind me in that room, I am bogged down by all of this physical stuff. And again, this is Taurus as well, you know, looking at what we value and what we are investing our time, our energy, our money into, and whether or not that is aligned with what is important to us and what we truly value. Because if it doesn't match up, there's an opportunity for us to make those changes. And in my world, I've had a story about how hard that's going to be, how much work it's going to be, how many layers of things have to be moved through. So it's so much easier for me to check out and bury myself in work so that I don't have to deal with those things, right? I mean, I'm being really honest with you guys and thinking about what that thing might be for you in your inner world from to your outer world. So, it's coming home. Literally, the screen has been ripped open so that I can see plainly these things must change, right? So then having some moments this morning prior to yoga, prior to breathing deeply and getting to where I am now, I opened my email and I had a beautiful email from someone I follow. She has a page called Heart Powered Living on Instagram. Her name's Katarina. And she was sort of introducing the May energy. And she said, you know, May invites us to address aspects of our lives, making it right, taking charge, the physical body, all about the physical, cleaning of the inside and the outside, and that the unrest that we see in our exterior world is a reflection of the inner wars and imbalances that are going on within. It's all connected. And so she went on to say that May is going to show us how to do this on an individual level if we are willing to participate. So that's really hitting me today. And this is, I'm trying to hopefully demonstrate for you, the shit's going to happen, right? The shit's going to hit the fan. The dog's going to rip the screen. These things happen in our lives. How am I going to experience it? I'm behind the wheel. There's been a detour. There's a traffic jam. There's some road rage. You know, whatever it is that we're experiencing, how am I going to experience it? How am I going to take the trip? And if my response is maybe rather colorful initially, and that's okay, because I am also a human being, I'm having a human experience, and this is a multidimensional universe, that I have a moment. But if I start to create a response that says, where are my tools? What is this situation coming back to show me? What do I see in front of me? What is that evoking within me? And then the emails came to back it up. And then the yoga directions came to back it up. It's deceptively simple, but deeply profound. And even her words for contemplation, which were so fantastic, but I was just coming out of Shavasana and I couldn't memorize it, and I didn't get to ask her because I was rushing off to find out if my husband made it to his massage. and of course he did. Thank you, Uber. So I didn't write it down, but it was in the same vein. It was really good about basically accepting. It wasn't about responsibility. I think the word obligation was used, but it was really about owning up, and further, this email went on to talk about agency, being an agent of change, and how, agency goes beyond sovereignty or intention, where I'm saying that I want this in my life. I have an intention. This is what I want to bring into my life. The next step is to be the agent of change, to get behind the chariot wheel and take a step in the direction. And so she was sharing the meaning of agency as that being a key word for May. So hopefully that all makes sense. I must start to make my way over to Massage Envy. That's telling in itself. How nice for you. You're having a massage. And, I'm making light of something that I recognize is quite common in relationships and in day-to-day life, all those circumstances. But also, can I see all of the blessings and the gifts and things that lie within the challenges, right? And the day-to-day and the stuff that comes along, and, the fender benders and the ripped screens and the car troubles, yeah, it's not perfect. Haven't figured it all out yet. Still got some things for sure, but I feel like it's moving in the direction of getting some clarity around. Thank you, Pluto, for bringing up, what we can look at here in terms of what the outer world is reflecting back to us. And so Pluto will be in retrograde until October 11th. So if you're not sure yet what that is for you, there is time. The good news is this is usually rather subtle and playing out in the background. It's not as overt as Mercury retrograde or some of the other innermost planets. And it's fascinating when you dip into these things to understand that the outermost planet affects us from an outer perspective, right? So that's where we're seeing the outer world reflecting back to us things that are coming up for rebirth, for death and rebirth in our inner world. So thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me share. I will be diving back into Empowerment Pack personal month ahead readings here for the rest of my day. That's my plan. If there is anybody who would still like to come along for the Empowerment Pack or just the Hello Empowerment for one reading for your month ahead, there is a part 1 already ready that I would send to you, and then I would be tuning in to pull you cards for your personal month ahead. So far, the readings I've been doing have been fantastic. We're doing some extra things with flower. We pulled a flower therapy oracle card. We're doing the Beltane oracle card, and we're pulling rune stones. So that's been a really beautiful addition, and we're working with a gorgeous deck this month, with everyone we'll see on Sunday when I come in for our collective week ahead card pull. But like I said, if you would like to join me more comprehensively for this month, check out the Empowerment Pack or the Hello Empowerment reading, or one of the readings just for one of the lunations coming right up. We've got a new moon in Taurus next week. Okay, guys, I hope you have a beautiful Friday and wonderful weekend, and we will talk soon. Much love and many blessings.